anti-Afro-Senegalese. Anyone want to argue? Anyone want to debate whether or not the heat is on? The heat is on. For sure, when someone from your hometown, from Philly, we're talking about Umar Johnson, gets arrested for running a GoFundMe scam, which is essentially identical to the amount that Umar Johnson hijacked on GoFundMe. The only difference, the color of the victims. And I'll get into that in a minute. Video by very, very popular demand. Here we go. And I'm also posting a video regarding the media angle associated with this situation I'm going to address. I always planned to follow up on this case, and now things have taken another turn. The GoFundMe out of Philly, out of Burlington County, New Jersey, there have been 3 arrests. Initially, it was this homeless vet story. Come to find out, it was all a complete and total fraud. All 3 people have been arrested. So now, how does this relate to Umar Johnson? He stole almost the identical amount. This is the female who lived with the guy, Kate McClure, and lived with Mark D'Amico. He obviously is a bum. I'm straight up, people, I'm telling you. And she stated about him. Let me read what she stated. And this is pulled from 60,000 text messages that they had sent between each other. They had blown through this money. And she was so frustrated with this no good bum who obviously is a crook, just a straight up crook. This is what she stated to him while they're both panicking about the money. We're going to need all the money we can get for now. And then the girlfriend tells him, all you need to do is start working at a real job, not the job you think you have. Oh my God, is that not absolutely bullseye, point blank, right between the eyes when it comes to Umar Johnson? Get a real job, not the job you think you have. When people acquire ill-gotten gains, they burn through them like you wouldn't believe. This is what Umar Johnson has done. This is what these people have done. And there's some for everybody here. Anybody can get it, especially when you've engaged in catastrophic fraud. Who is she to talk? She is just as involved as her boyfriend and Johnny Bobbitt, the homeless veteran. It doesn't make any difference that Johnny Bobbitt has a dependency just like this Mark McClure, the boyfriend, does. Johnny Bobbitt's is substance abuse and the boyfriend's is gambling. There is no difference. It's just different. It's just a different vice. And we know what Umar Johnson's vice is. Greed, number 1, sex workers and prostitutes, and food. We all know that. It doesn't make any difference. The fact is that they stole the money. And this Kate McClure, she was horrible. You should read the text messages. She was laughing at scamming people. And here's a parallel between Kate McClure and Umar Johnson. Her mother knew she was scamming and even made a statement about it during the text messages that she relayed to one of her friends. Just like Jamal Johnson knows Umar Johnson is a scam. Wonder where both Kate McClure and Umar Johnson learned their tools of the trade. Don't blame it on other people. She decided to live with a gambler, but she is just as guilty as the other 2. She's been charged again with the exact same 2 criminal charges. Theft by deception in violation of New Jersey state annotated codes. I looked NJSA up, which is a 2nd-degree felony because of the amount they stole. And then you have conspiracy to commit theft by deception, also a felony. And I believe they face, I think they said up to 10 years in prison. Up to 10 years in prison. I am quite sure, as all of you are aware, in your own states, there are similar criminal statutes, although they may not be specifically stated like this. This is a crime in all 50 states. I have mentioned that fact many times over. You want to hear some other lies? This is some stuff I've been holding on to. Umar Johnson has told so many lies that it should have got him arrested a long time ago. Now, I knew, like I tell you people, when you send me stuff, I may not use it right away, but I'm going to use it. I mean, people often tell me I'm like my dad, which is a trait we didn't like. He doesn't forget. He doesn't forget. If you did something you weren't supposed to do, he may not deal with you right then and there, but he's going to come back to you. He's going to, I guess I am. I guess so. I mean, if you want to put it that way, I guess I'll accept that. But for us, when we were young, that wasn't so much of a good thing. For Umar Johnson, it's not a good thing. And I'm in no way implying I'm trying to be Umar Johnson's parent or anything like that. I'm sick and tired of Umar Johnson perpetrating fraud, making money off of my profession by lying and saying he's a therapist, and he does it to get money. He can keep repeating over and over and over again about a school. He can give 50,000 opening dates. That doesn't make any difference. The issue is what was and what is Umar Johnson's intent in taking this money. And I submit to you, once you get a hold of these GoFundMe records, legally your questions will be answered. I don't really need the GoFundMe records. I already know what Umar Johnson's intent is. He's been caught in so many lies. He sat on this radio station. Here's one. Listen to this.
And so can you share, just I'm playing Angel's Advocate, sir. Can you share that, do you have a 501c3?
Do I have a 501c3? That's in process.
Okay.
But you don't need a 501c3 to open a school.
But
I was just about to ask
but we're asking
you don't
the
have to
question.
have.
Umar Johnson, who's never at a loss of words for scamming people when he's doing the talking, but when you pose questions to him and he's lying, listen to the pause. He had to prepare himself for the answer. Listen for the pause, people. And the lie that follows. So, why is there a pause? Because he had to figure out what lie. He wasn't ready for that one, was he? Wasn't ready for that one, but he told a bald-faced lie. There is no 501c3. They could have looked it up before he came. Could have looked it up before he came. Nope, didn't do that. But these are the things you need to be letting the media know when you complain. These are the things you need to be letting other people know. If he was legitimate, why not fill out the forms and send them in? Legitimate people fill out the forms. Umar Johnson cannot get a 501c3 again until he submits all those 990s. Why do you think he didn't submit those 990s? Why do you think he would have anything to hide? What would stop him from submitting the 990s if he was above board? Think about that. Honest people will submit the forms because he intended to keep the money for himself. The money is not intended for Umar Johnson to fly around the world and so-called look for schools. You don't need to fly around the world or even the United States to look for schools. You don't need to do that. The intention of Umar Johnson was to rip off the black community because he thought in his mind no one would ever do anything about it. And here we are 5 years in and he still hasn't been held accountable. So Umar Johnson gambled and thought he was going to win. Since he hasn't been charged, in his mind, I know he doesn't think he won. I know he knows he did wrong. Just like when you read through this affidavit, you see the panic in these people talking to themselves or each other between on text message, and voicemail. They knew the hammer was coming down. I don't care how much of a treacherous criminal you are, you know when you do wrong. You know when people can come in and hook you up because you haven't done what you said you were going to do. If Umar Johnson did what he said he was going to do, he would have filed those 990s. He would have showed information about where the money went. All he does is get angry and defensive, screaming and hollering because someone dares to ask him about money that was donated. That money is not Umar Johnson's to keep. That money was donated with Umar Johnson telling people he had a GoFundMe, he had a nonprofit status. That's a lie. He maybe initially had it for a little while. He doesn't have a nonprofit status. He didn't have the nonprofit status for the whole time. It started at a certain point and obviously ended when he refused to pay. He refused to submit any documents. That's the bottom line on that. We may be all black folks. We may have some similar thought process going on. We're not clones. But there's one thing I do know. Most black folks want to know what happened to that money. That I do know. We want to know what happened to that money. So Umar Johnson can tell all the lies he wants. Let me show you what they stated in the affidavit specific to these people. So this is what you would be getting, not if, when the financial documents on Umar Johnson's GoFundMe fraud are ultimately released. This is what you're going to find. GoFundMe doesn't let you just hang money around with them. The money is withdrawn, although GoFundMe doesn't take the time out to indicate how much money based on what they're posting was subtracted. That would be way too much. That's way too much work for GoFundMe to do. They're only telling you how much the campaign took in altogether. Okay? But the information is available. So you're going to get exactly what you're seeing here once Umar Johnson's records get subpoenaed. Now, I know we all want to know what happened to that money. We all want to know. There's a paper trail with GoFundMe. There's a paper trail with PayPal. There is a paper trail with the mail checks. He gets money orders and checks in the mail. That money has got to be deposited in a bank, people. There is no way Umar Johnson can hide what he did with that money. And I'm guaranteeing you this, it has nothing to do with the school. Nothing to do with the school. And you can see how quickly they blew through this money. If you go through this filing, it has communications between the two. And this part I thought was especially interesting. How on August 27th, D'Amico, which is the white Umarian, the primary white Umarian, because at first we didn't know that Bobbitt was involved. So we're going back to August 27th before the indictments were handed down, that he stated there was still 150,000, well over 150,000. So when the civil case got underway in court, here's the lawyer presenting this information. Now the lawyer's just going to present it because the client stated. But when the judge demanded proof because she wanted it turned over, this is a sister judge, okay? First off, she wanted the grandstanding to stop. She don't have time for nonsense. Judges don't have time for nonsense. Don't pay attention to the TV where the judges let people go on and on and on and act all out of control. No, I don't care about all this media circus. I want the money placed in an escrow account. You're stating there's $150,000 left. Get it into a trust account within 24 hours. She wanted a hearing back on August 30th. She's not playing around. This is business we're talking about. Getting down to business. No 5-year mumbo jumbo. Put the money in a trust account. So when they get back to court, now the lawyer for D'Amico and McClure are in a very different situation because they've confronted their clients and said, look, the judge is demanding this money be put in trust, and of course an attorney is required to follow the judge's orders, but When there's no money to transfer, then the attorney is obligated to come back to court and tell the truth that the money's gone. No money remains. The attorney has to be honest at this point. And then this lawyer, not long after that, actually stated at this hearing that he will no longer be representing the clients. He's going to be terminating his relationship with them because this is a criminal matter, and he's not a criminal attorney. It's only ethical for him to do that. He shouldn't be representing both of them in a civil case either, but that's beside the point. Anyone ever heard Umar Johnson talk about a trust account? If you are putting money in your personal bank account for donations that you claim are for a school, that's another element of intent that's being met. Where is the business account? He doesn't have a business account. It's all in the same pot of money. And if he says Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey name on it, who are, by the way, deceased, he's the only one that has access to it. So he's using it as a personal bank account. It's the same difference. And if he has that so-called account, like he has stated before, that's what it's named under, I can assure you there are transfers from that account into another account. Or he probably didn't even bother because he had free access to the account. It's a scam all the way around, no matter how you cut it. Now, at this point, look for the video regarding the media and getting media involved, because I had so many specific questions about the media. In the meantime, it is no less significant to make sure you not only do this for yourself, but you let everyone else know how important it is to heed the warning. Buyer, beware.